आज के प्रोग्राम गीतमाला में आप सभी भाई बहनों का हार्दिक स्वागत करते हुए मैं हूं आपकी सेवा में दर्शन सहोता। नमस्कार, सत श्री अकाल और अदावज, और आप सभी भाई बहनों का एक बार फिर से दिल खोलकर हम आपका स्वागत करते हैं। आज फ्राइडे है, आप अच्छी तरह जानते हैं। फ्राइडे का मतलब होता है गीतमाला में फ्राइडे नाइट मनी शो विद रंजीत धालीवाल जी। रंजीत धालीवाल जी जो बहुत ही सक्सेसफुल, आपको बहुत ही अच्छी सर्विसेज देने वाले और बहुत ही ऑनेस्ट मॉर्टगेज ब्रोकर हैं और प्रेसिडेंट हैं क्लैरिटी फाइनेंशियल के। आपने कोई भी नई मॉर्टगेज लेनी हो या अपनी रीफाइनेंसिंग करवानी हो पुरानी मॉर्टगेज की, इनसे मिलेंगे, इनसे करवाएंगे, आपका हज़ारों डॉलर का फ़ायदा करवा के देंगे। अपॉइंटमेंट बनाकर आप मिलें इनसे एक बार पहले, जब भी आपने कोई नई मॉर्टगेज लेनी हो या रीफाइनेंसिंग करवानी हो, और इनकी सर्विसेज से आप इतना फ़ायदा पाएंगे कि बाद में इनके पास ही जाएंगे जैसे मैं जाता हूं। टेलीफोन नंबर है रंजीत धालीवाल जी का 4169927265, 4169927265। जब भी आपके दिमाग में कभी मॉर्टगेज की बात आए या रीफाइनेंसिंग की बात आए तो इस नंबर पर पहले कॉल करके रंजीत धालीवाल जी के साथ एक सलाह मशवरा ज़रूर कर लें। आप कहेंगे उस दिन कि मैंने आपको अच्छी बात बताई थी। टेलीफोन नंबर एक बार फिर से इनका नोट कर लें, 4169927265। रंजीत जी, स्वागत आज के प्रोग्राम में।
थैंक यू वेरी मच सर।
एक कॉलर हैं, उन्होंने कॉल किया और कहा कि उन्होंने एक कॉन्डो खरीदा था 3 साल पहले 1,30,000 का, आज उसकी कीमत सिर्फ 1 लाख रह गई है। तो ये कॉलर कहते हैं कि वो नया घर खरीदना चाहते हैं, फ्री होल्ड होम विद जीरो डाउन। उनकी क्या ऑप्शंस है?
Really good question from the caller, first of all. So let me just summarize in English for some of our friends, especially the Italian friends who continue to listen to our show after the Italian programming has ended. The question is, a listener has bought a condo for about $130,000 about 3 years ago, and today the condo is actually worth about $100,000. And the person finally is sick and tired of it, and they want to sell this condo, and they don't really have any other down payment though, because whatever money they had, they kept on putting into this particular place, and that money keeps on evaporating. And so the value, because the value is actually a lot less now, they can't take any equity out. Even when they sell the house, they might even have to put a few $1,000s into it in order to get rid of it. So what are their options? They want to go with the zero down. Now, traditionally speaking, I'm going to comment on this actual situation in a minute too, like as far as how can this be possible? $130,000 condo, first of all, is it even possible to buy something like that in GTA? Secondly, how can a condo like that come down in value over the last 3 years when most other condos have either been going up, and especially freehold homes have been going up drastically? So how is that possible? So we're going to come back to that in a minute. But let's address the caller's main issue. That is that they want to buy a home with zero down payment now. And how can they do so? Well, they can do so. There's several zero down programs that we talk about on this radio program itself. And one of the programs is very, very simple that everybody's got access to. Is you basically take a mortgage at 5-year posted rates, and a few of the banks out there will give you about 5% cash back to put towards your down payment. So it's a rebate that they're giving you. So it's really not a zero down. It's actually still a 5% down. But the bank, because they're giving you that 5%, they're going to charge you a much higher interest rate. The interest rate is 5.39%. Now, I have major issues with that. And the issues that I have is, first of all, your monthly payment is going to be a lot higher. But the bigger issue that I have is what the banks have been doing over the last 10, 11 years, the way they've been changing the 5-year fixed rate or their fixed rate penalty calculations, the interest rate differential penalty calculation. When you have a higher rate, even though you got a cash back and so on, your effective rate might still be like 4.39% or something, but on the contract, it still says 5.39. And the lender, when it comes time to break the mortgage, and unfortunately 70 to 80% of the people break their mortgages before the end of the first 5 years. So if they're going to break it, they're going to end up paying a penalty. And as you know, those penalties are based on 3 months interest or IRD. which is the interest rate differential on what the bank's going to lose by canceling your contract, because they were guaranteed to make that money over the next 5 years. When you have a 5.39%, the IRD difference, the interest rate differential, that amount becomes much larger. So your penalties become horrendous, that you'll never be able to get out of this type of a situation. And if the prices, nothing happens with the prices, they only go up slightly higher, this lady might find herself in a similar situation again, where she's trying to sell this house and she can't sell it. Now, in this particular case, the price hasn't dropped, but the penalty has gone up so much. In order to sell it, she won't be able to do it. So I have an issue with that basic way of going, that very simple strategy of using a cashback to get a zero down. What I'd like to get her to do is a strategy we've been talking about for a long time here on the station, which is to get the taxman to make your down payment. So the taxman, we're using the RSP Home Buyers Program to do this, and the RSP Home Buyers Program has certain criterias. Some of the basic criteria is that you must be a first-time buyer. So in this particular case, she's not really a first-time buyer because she owns a house. Right? But will she be considered a first-time buyer? We'll come back to that in a second. The second requirement is that she must have signed a purchase agreement, which is fine. That's fair enough, easy enough. And the third one is the funds should be sitting in an RSP for 90 days. So let's address the second two she can probably achieve, not a problem. She can put some money into the RSPs, make sure it's there for 90 days, and she can sign a purchase agreement. The first criteria, that she's got to be considered a first-time buyer. Well, in her case, Revenue Canada says that she's still considered a first-time buyer because although she technically already owns a house, she made a loss on that particular property. She bought it for $130,000, it went down to $100,000. So really, we should allow her to be still considered a first-time buyer and take advantage of this program, because that whole program is designed to help Canadians get into their own homes. So, if she had used that program, and the only criteria is that you must have repaid everything back into that program, and then you can use that program once again. So since she made a loss. Why did she make a loss, by the way, on this particular condo? Actually, maybe we can address that after. So in this particular case, what we want to do for her is to give her, and she's got good credit, she's got decent income, and what we will do is, in our office, we will give her a loan. We'll give her a loan to put the money towards an RRSP. And that money has to sit in there for 90 days. She has to sign the purchase agreement, and then she can take that money out, and she can either use those funds towards a down payment, or she can actually use that fund to pay back the loan and use the RSP tax rebate, which should come in February, March. Take the RSP tax rebate and put that towards a down payment. This is what I call get the taxman to pay, make your down payment. So what's the benefit? One is you got instantaneous tax refund, free tax refund that she wouldn't qualify for in future unless she lost more money on this house. Right? Hopefully we're not going to put her into that situation. And so that's one, you get a free tax refund. But the second thing is she no longer has to pay a rate of 5.39% on her mortgage. She can qualify for the lowest rate that we've got. We have a lowest rate that we announced last week, I think too, I'm not 100% sure, but 3.14% for a 5-year fixed rate mortgage. She can qualify for that low, very, very low rate. And that would be much, much better. First, her payment is going to be lower. But more importantly, if she decides to move or pay off the mortgage in 3 years, 4 years down the road, her penalty is not going to be horrendous like it will be based on a 5.39% fixed rate mortgage. So that's what I think she should do in this particular case. And maybe we can, towards the end of the program, we can discuss what type of a property is this where it's gone from 130 down to 100. In fact, I will talk to you about some properties which you can pick up for $50,000. But we're also going to tell you whether it makes sense to pick those properties up or not.
अगर उसकी RRSP में room नहीं होगा, तो फिर क्या होगा?
That's, again, digging deeper on this particular question is, so she's considered a first-time buyer. What if she doesn't have room or she doesn't have enough room available? Well, one of the good things is at this time of the year, we're in December right now, and we can anticipate what her room is going to be as of January 1st, 2012. Which is 18% of your previous year's income. So we can estimate what her income is going to be for 2011 because, we already know what her income was for the previous 11 months. We just have to estimate for the month of December. So let's say we estimated that her income was such and such amount. Now we know that she'll be able to qualify for an additional $9,000 upwards of $15,000-$16,000 more, maybe even more RSP contribution room. And so although she can't make that contribution up until January 1st. But you know what we're going to do in this particular case? We're going to violate that rule on purpose by design. we are going to over contribute. Now, you're allowed a lifetime over contribution of only $2,000. That's really not going to help us in this particular case. So what we're going to do in this case is we're actually going to over contribute. Let's say we decide that she's going to open up another $15,000 RSP room because of her income in 2011. Then what we're going to do is we're going to not wait until January 1st. We're going to put that money in right now into the RSPs.
जी.
Right? So as a result of that, Revenue Canada is not going to like it very much. They're going to say, hey, we have to charge you a penalty of 1% for over contributing in the month of December. Right? As of January 1st, the room opens up. So we might pay 1% penalty in order to save maybe 40% for her. I'm very happy paying that 1% in order to save 40%.
Save 40% in taxes.
In taxes, exactly. And then the second thing is, now she's got a way to use that money that she's going to put into the RSPs, that she's going to cash out. She can use that towards a down payment and qualify for that ultra low interest rate rather than 5.39% interest rate. So that's how we would basically overcome if she's got limited RSP contribution room available right now. So many of you who might be listening right now, if you're thinking that, yeah, you know what, this RSP home buyers plan sounds really good, I want to get in on it, but I need to buy a house right now and I need to be contributing into it right now, but I don't have that much room. Well, we can sort of project what your room is going to be in January, and we'll make a calculated decision to over contribute and therefore get a large refund and pay back tiny little bit of that refund, 1/40th of that refund or 1/30th of that refund in the form of a penalty of 1% per annum.
आज के प्रोग्राम का स्पेशल क्या है हमारे लिसनर्स के लिए?
Special is anybody who decides to take advantage of anything that we're doing and then to take a mortgage from us. Anytime in the future, in the next 6 months or whatever, we're going to pick up your legal fees if you happen to be one of the first 20 callers to call right now. 416-992-7265. We'll pick up your legal fees if you're refinancing, if you're purchasing your home, provided the mortgage amount is $300,000 or higher. If it's less than that, we'll still pick up something, but proportionally a little bit less for you.
All right. अपना नंबर एक बार फिर से दे दें.
416-992-7265, and you can also text me at the same number, 992-7265, or you can email me, info@clarityfinancial.ca.
एक छोटा सा कमर्शियल ब्रेक लेते हैं और फिर वापस आते हैं.